one of the top columnists in all of America.
Yes, he is.
We are privileged to have him with us. Longtime friend, Bill Plaschke. Bill, what's happening, man? Welcome to the Odd Couple.
Going on. I heard y'all talking about John Beilein. Yeah, he's crowned all the way to the bank. He doesn't care what he doesn't care what we say about him. Are you kidding me?
67 years old.
He got over.
Give me
man.
one of those.
He got over like
I'll
a fat cat. I totally agree.
Unbelievable.
God.
He could care less.
So Bill, we can talk, basketball, the All-Star game. We'll get to that, but obviously we want to start with baseball. And you are saying now that Rob Manfred's performance, if that's what I can call it or whatever, his handling of this situation is almost as bad as the scandal itself.
I don't know about that, Bill.
Talk about why you feel that way. And I also want you to answer this if you can. Do you think, I've said from day one it should be vacated, the title. I think you've been there. Do you think it could get to a place where they're going to have to do that because of the backlash?
Yeah, I mean, I was there from day one, and I wrote this column. Justin Turner's comments today pretty much were exactly what I said last Thursday. Yes, what he's done, the way he's handled this, has changed everything. The fact that he did not punish these guys. Again, what I wrote was like, hearing the Astros apologize is like having a guy apologize for stealing a car while the Cadillac is sitting in his driveway and he's getting ready to drive it off.
Right.
He's got his car. They have their trophy. They have their rings. So that's why the apology sounded hollow. If he had really made them vacate the trophy, give back the rings, even give back the money, if that had happened, I think the apologies would have sounded a lot different. I think baseball players in general would not be so quick to want to retaliate against these guys. I think baseball just wanted to see justice done, and justice was not done by Manfred. And it was terrible. It was what he did. He kowtowed to the owners. He kowtowed to Jim Crane's lackey. He's the ownership's lackey. He's a corporate New York lawyer who doesn't belong in this game. This is proven it to me.
Bill, here's my only pushback.
Totally with you,
here's my pushback to you. The reason he didn't want to take on the players has to do with the union, especially. And I'm not making an excuse for him, but Bill, just hear me out. He's dealing with the most powerful union. If you're taking away money, taking away rings, what are you going to do? Take the team, especially when it was organizational cheating, not individual guys, but organizational cheating, having to prove who did use it, who didn't use it. How, Bill, are you going to prove that even if it was available, if I told you I knew it was there, I knew what we were doing, but I didn't use the knowledge or the information, how in the world are you going to prove that? And I know everybody's sitting there saying this is what he should do, but it's the hard part is to hear all the players attack other players, which, Bill, you've covered baseball forever. You've never seen players attack each other.
Never seen it.
Never.
You've never seen it like
that. Am I right? This is different.
I have never seen this, Rob.
Never.
I've covered the game at the same amount of time. But here's the deal. 90% of the union didn't cheat, at least didn't get caught cheating.
Right.
Manfred should have gambled that, okay, union, come after me, and let's see all the members. What would Justin Turner say to a union leader who says we're going to protect the Astros? What would Gleyber Torres say?
Right.
What would so I'm thinking he should have taken on the union. He should have done it. He should have gone for it. Grievance or not, the hell with that.
Okay.
Go for it. Go for these guys. He had to promise them immunity. Personal immunity, I understand that because he wouldn't have gotten to the truth, but he could have damn sure taken away their rings and their money and their.
I agree with that part,
and that would have been, and everybody says, well, it's the same as when they vacate the Final Four, and everybody says they shouldn't vacate the Final Four. No, this was not like some, grade scandal or something that didn't affect the actual game. This affected the outcome. The outcome was a lie. The Astros are a lie, and Manfred is a complete wuss to not see, completely spineless to not do this. And I just got to think at some point the backlash at some point he's going to have to do something because it's chaos out there.
It is.
Baseball's on fire.
And you know what? And we're not even, Bill, wait till the Red Sox thing. I don't know if it's going to be at this degree, but we got another scandal that hasn't been exposed yet. And what is going to happen there? That's what kills me. And here's one thing real quick, Chris. I'm sorry. Cody Bellinger and Turner, right? And these guys are all coming out brimstone and whatnot. They got two guys on their team who are could have been involved in the Boston thing. You know what I mean? I'm just asking.
This is important. It's important to note that the Red Sox baseball, by the time they got to the 2018 World Series, baseball closed up those video rooms. So the Red Sox could not have cheated. There was no the baseball, because the rules had been put in place by then. So the Red Sox cheated during the regular season, perhaps. We'll find out. But there's no indication that there's been any cheating in that postseason against the Dodgers because of the baseball shut that stuff down. So that's why I'm not making a big deal about Betts being a Dodger or David Price, because I don't think, in fact, I'm sure they didn't cheat during the World Series. Now, during the season, we're going to find out a lot about that soon.
Okay.
But not during the World Series, but yeah.
Bill Plaschke, the LA Times, joining the Odd Couple. Bill, we've heard, and there were even reports, some of the reporting was like, there's more teams doing this. And you've heard people around baseball say, it's rampant. The Astros just got caught, or maybe they're doing it better than other teams. Do you think the reaction of these players, how strong it's been, flies in the face of that? And it's like, you know what? These teams aren't cheating, certainly not even close to the degree that the Astros did. Or do you think maybe players are just kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth?
No, I think this shows a lot of players have had access and ideas, and there's a lot of front offices have been working on these code breaker things, I'm sure, and they present them to players, but nobody's used it, and nobody's thought they would go that far. Nobody's gone to the extent of the Astros, and that's what the outrage is. The outrage, maybe some of it is they got to it first before we did, but the fact is that they crossed the line. The Astros crossed the line that no baseball players they crossed. In fact, there's only one player that's come out even defending the Astros, and that's, of course, a guy for the Red Sox, J.D. Martinez, today said, "Back off." Gee, I wonder why he's saying. I wonder why.
You know what? And that's my point.
Why he's saying that. Yeah.
Bill,
Right,
you know
right.
that. He's like, I don't want to give up video, but I go and I critique every at bat because his name
I
might
bet
be
you
on
don't.
that. His name might be on there. And you remember the year that he had in 2018.
But I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen where Ross Stripling, who's the kindest, most intelligent, sharpest, nicest man in baseball, says, "Yep, I think I might throw at him." I mean, my goodness.
Right.
Baseball, the Astros made Mike Trout mad.
Right,
Who makes
right.
Mike Trout mad?
You're right.
Oh, my God. Mike Trout said something quotable. First time in 7 or 8 years.
Right.
Oh, my God. They have really crossed it. I'm telling you, Manfred needs it, and it would be a pushback from the union. The players would have to tell the union that it'd be okay to take away their trophy. And I think I think maybe it could still happen, because it's become a complete joke now, and baseball will get its revenge. The players, and again, if Manfred if he had acted swiftly and he'd acted strongly and he'd stripped them of the titles and the rings, the money, I don't think we'd have this reaction. Players would say, "Okay, they got theirs. Let's move on." Players don't think they got theirs.
We're going to stick with baseball for much of this hour, Rob, and obviously a lot to get to.
Yes.
And look, this cheating scandal, far from going away when the punishments were announced, maybe 2 weeks ago, it's actually just getting worse and worse. Players are arriving for spring training.
That's the difference, right? Remember,
Yep.
when it first came out, players weren't around. And, Chris, every day there's another player from some team who's now available. And when they get asked a question, I think it's like they're loading up bigger and bigger after everybody else's comments. You know what I
Right.
mean?
They're not holding back. I mean, Cody Bellinger was one of the first to really come out, and he came out strong.
Yep.
And then Justin Turner, his teammate, of course, came out. Was it today?
Yep, he did.
And now, yesterday. And Mike Trout, who, as
Who
Bill
does-
Plaschke
who-
just said,
right.
I mean, very soft-spoken, doesn't say a lot. For him to really hand it to the Astros players, that says a lot. And one of the things, Rob, that's coming out, and I'm not going to beat up on the guy, but the lack of respect that players are showing Commissioner Rob Manfred
No doubt
is
about it.
a bit stunning. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're 100% right. But the one thing I did pose to Bill Plaschke when he was on a little while ago, Chris, was, dealing with the union. And I think that's where he didn't want to get into that, not knowing, this is just me. I don't
Well,
think.
he said it. Remember, he said he didn't want to deal with the union.
No,
too.
right. But I don't think that he thought that the union, that the players would go after each other. Chris,
right.
When have you ever seen baseball players rip each other? Not even during steroids.
Right.
Seriously.
And they saw guys doing
And they weren't
steroids.
happy about it, but
Right.
they never did it.
Right.
I just
You're right.
I'm shocked at the pushback and the harsh words for their
But you got to
brethren.
be pleasantly shocked.
Yes, I am. I'm not. I get it because, Chris, I tell you before, organizational cheating is as bad as it gets. Seriously. Like when you do this and you set it up and you let people, this is not one or two guys or somebody's trying to get an advantage. This is organizational. And that is where you cheat the game when you do it on that scale.
Well, I also think this, Rob. First of all, you've heard several players. Trout mentioned it. I can't remember who the other guy. It was maybe a week or so ago. But players have mentioned you cost guys jobs, livelihoods.
Even
some guys didn't. Who was the guy that's suing the league because he didn't pitch again? He's
right, he
out
was
of
with the
league.
Blue Jays. He got ripped by the Astros, and that was his last appearance. And he's been out of baseball. And then even to hear when Cody Bellinger goes up and says, "Hey, Altuve stole that championship from
the MVP.
I mean, the MVP
From Aaron Judge. Yep.
Right? I mean,
They look, say what you want about the union and all that. Ultimately, they've always been about taking care of the players.
right.
Not just a few players, not just the superstars, the players.
As a group.
And that's why they're upset because they're like, look, you went against the players.
No, you're
You
right.
want us as the union to back you, but you didn't back us. You cheated us. So I think that's number one. I think number two, Rob.
That's a good point, Chris. I
Right?
didn't think about it like that, because that's dishonest. Like that, you know what? You've thrown the balance. Like, so now you're taking away money from people.
Yep.
You're taking away their
Jobs.
You're taking away their trophies and stuff by cheating, and that's not cool. Even as a player, it's not cool.
Right. Now, I think this, Rob, and look, Manfred said it. I think you're right in saying, I mean, he basically admitted you're right in saying that he didn't want to deal with the union.
Yep.
Number one, that's not a good enough reason. I get it that it's one of the strongest unions. It's clearly the strongest in sports.
Oh, no doubt.
It's one of the strongest, period,
Yep.
in America. But that can't be your reasoning. I didn't want to deal with them because they're tough. If they cheated, you got to deal with them.
No,
That's number one.
I hear you.
Number two, I think clearly the union would not have just solely blindly backed these guys. And also, Rob, I think if you vacate the title, like you said, that's taken from the organization. That's taken from the franchise. I don't really care. Like, again, I've been beating the drum, vacate the title. I'd rather that than guys get suspended for a year.
Right, you
or
couldn't
2
do
years.
that. I mean,
Right.
if you suspended the whole team, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that can't happen, right?
And so I think if vacating the title, I may be wrong. I'm not sure you would have had to deal with the players. Now, the union may have, I guess you got to get clearance from them or whatever agreement. But
How about-
it looks like they would have been in agreement.
It looks like that by the pushback from the players. What about this, Chris? Because Pulaski did bring this up too, and I've heard this about giving their rings back and giving their money back that they got as part of their, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
is that?
but also giving. So you saying giving all that back, but yet remaining World Series champions?
Well, but because if you
I
just
think
take
it all
the
goes together.
trophy away. That's hurting the organization more than it's hurting the players. If they still got their rings,
No,
and they still got
think
money,
it all goes
Chris.
together. When
Really?
I say vacate the title, I mean erase it from the record books.
Rings back, everything?
Yes, erase it from the record books. The trophy sent back. The rings are sent back.
Because remember,
the money.
the league pays for the ring. Like, there's a certain budget that comes from the league, and then if a team wants to go above that, and
Right.
you know what I mean?
That's on them.
That's on them. But the money comes out of Major League Baseball.
No, I think you take away the rings and you withhold the money. So for whatever their next paychecks come, you withhold that amount of money that they got for winning, going deep in the playoffs and winning the World Series. That's what I think all that goes together. But here's the commissioner, Rob Manfred, and he talked about the notion of, vacating the title, why they didn't do it. And he really kind of disrespected, I would say, the trophy in the process. Here it is.
several thoughts. Number one, it has never happened in baseball. I am a believer in the idea that precedent matters. When you deviate from it, you have to have a really good reason to do that, number one. Number two, I thought that the report gave people a really transparent account of what went on, that we put people in a position to make their own judgments about the behavior that went on. That certainly has happened over the last month. The idea of, an asterisk or asking for a piece of metal back seems, sort of a futile act. People always know that there was something about the 2017 World Series that was different, and they're going to know that because whether we made every decision right or wrong, we undertook a really thorough investigation, and we had the intestinal fortitude to put out there the facts we found, even though they weren't very pretty.
He sounds like he's almost about to tear up.
Yeah, look, obviously
What'd
it's
you
a
make
lot
of
to
that?
deal with. Yeah, he sounds shaken. Shook,
I mean,
right?
Chris, he is shook because I don't think he expected this kind of pushback. And, I mean, they're taking aim at him.
Right.
It ain't like they're talking about baseball as a whole when you just say baseball. You're talking about the commissioner.
Yeah, Justin Turner today, I don't know if he's ever won anything, but he, they have gone at him hard. And but that comes with the territory. We've seen it happen to Roger Goodell. I mean, there's a reason these guys get paid the big bucks that they do. And this comes with the territory if you don't handle situations like this properly. Rob, him calling the trophy, which actually has the commissioner's trophy, it's
Right.
called, a piece of metal.
Right. Like
That is just not a good look.
No,
right?
because he downplayed it like it didn't matter, a
Right.
piece of metal. No, it has real meaning to people. It's a big deal.
Obviously it's just a symbol,
Right.
but still, like, what's it going to look like next year?
But that's what you play
when
for.
You're
You play
handing
for
that,
it.
right? When you're handing that championship trophy to the winner of the World Series and you called it a piece of metal.
Right.
So that was not a good look.
I don't think he was ready for this. I really,
No.
Chris, I don't think he was ready for this. I don't think he realized, what was going to happen. And I think that, normally the union's cool. Well, they didn't take our money.
Right.
None of the players got suspended, Chris. Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, the union's going to be happy. Just wait, because the union's not happy.
Now, the bottom line is this, right? And I just think it's just a fundamental thing. If you got a nice new car. Now it's a couple months old.
A new
really
car.
nice. Right. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's fresh. If I steal your car, Rob, I steal your car. And then you find out and I say I'm sorry, but I keep the car.
Right.
I mean, and I don't go to jail. Nothing happens. I just say I'm sorry. Is that good enough for you?
No, I get it.
I don't pay you. I don't buy you a new car. That's the problem. There's been no punishment. There's been no justice. There's been no punishment. So there's been no justice. And let me say this, because again, I've been a proponent of vacating the title.
You have from day one. You have.
Right. Here are a few things, Rob, that I think, like, these are reasons I think they should have done it. And I think it would have helped them. Number one, if they had vacated the title, Rob, I don't think you'd be going through this PR nightmare that you are right now. Because again, people, including the players, would have felt like there was punishment. All right, these guys cheated, but they got punished. There were repercussions. They didn't get the championship. So I think you wouldn't be dealing with this public relations nightmare. Number two, I don't think you would have had to deal with the Players Association, which was a fear of yours, Rob Manfred.
Right, that's
because
obvious.
Again,
right.
you're taking it from the organization. It's not just the players who are getting punished. It's the whole franchise and organization. Number three, I think that what baseball, and to be honest, I think what most people involved would like, Rob, and you as a baseball voter for the Hall of Fame, longtime reporter, guy that loves the sport, as much as I'm bothered and upset with the Astros for what they did, I would like to move on from this. I would like to see Altuve and Verlander and Bregman be able to move on and just play clean.
Right.
And if you vacated the titles, you took away the MVPs, you took away the rings, all that, I think they could actually move on. Because it would be like, yeah, look, we did it. We were wrong. We're sorry.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like now that cloud, yeah, we know they did it, but the cloud is no longer still there. It's like, okay, now they're clean. They paid the price. Like Michael Vick. People were upset with him.
Yep.
He went to jail. He paid the price. And now people, forgive, you move on, and it's all good. So
here's another thing, Chris, when you think about this scandal, and I know we're going to get people to chime in. I think this is going to be a year long where they get booed everywhere they go. And I don't see where this stops.
When does it end?
I really don't. Not until everybody gets theirs. You know what I mean? Like, Chris,
Right.
as they go to every stadium, as they go to every I believe, and I'm just stepping out here, Chris. I believe they'll be booed at home in Houston.
At home?
Yep, I do. It's that big
Wow.
of a
I'd be
deal.
shocked.
There's some fans who
Let's
love
put some wings
baseball.
on that.
Let's do it. I believe.
Really?
I believe they'll be booed at home because they not only did they cheat with the players and the players reacted. Chris, they took something from the fans. Their one moment to bask in the sun and feel great about being remember, this is their first. You never forget your first. They took that from the fans. They can't go and hold that as a trophy to other fans who say, "Oh, your team cheated." Do you know? Like the fans got robbed too.
I hear you.
You don't think they'll
but
get booed?
I not in Houston.
All right, we got wings
I
on
do
it.
not-
Remember
yeah,
that.
there's wings on that.
I think they'll
do
get
not-
booed.
Wow. I'd be shocked at that. But we will see. But my last point, Rob, is finally I think it would be a deterrent, right? If you took away the title, it'd be a deterrent to other teams. Like, why in the world would I do it? If I get caught, the very thing I'm doing it for, Jim Crane doesn't need money, and maybe he had no idea what was going on. But even the management,
Right.
if I know if I get caught, I'm losing the ring, I'm losing the championship. Why in the world would I do it? Players, I get it; they would do it for money, but even they want titles and stuff too.
Right.
And I think it would just be a deterrent to other teams that might think about doing this. So, but you're right. I think all year, and I'm not a proponent of, throwing at batters and stuff. But as you know, and Bill Plaschke said, they're going to get thrown at.
I think so. I think it's going to be bad the whole year for them unless the Red Sox are going to get their own medicine. I really want to see what happens, Chris, because as I brought up, some of the Dodgers are speaking some pretty tough words. They got two new teammates who could be embroiled in that. Where would that go? Think about that.
Yeah, that like if those guys were doing the same thing,
Right.
That's right.
You're Cody Bellinger. What are you going to say to David Price and the Mookie Betts that you were
Right.
part of something that's similar? That's what.
Right.
This is ugly, and that's going to come out before the season, right? It was supposed to come out last week, and it's going to come out soon, but it'll be interesting. I'm listening. I'm curious to hear what people have to say.